Jimmy Heffernan is listed on the telephone directory as Bonesetter. But to thousands of people all over Ireland, he's the man with the healing touch. Perhaps the most famous of Ireland's Bonesetters, his cottage home near Drangan in County Tipperary, has become a mecca in recent years, busier than many dispensaries. Bone setting is an instinctive, almost mysterious gift in the eyes of many who have implicit faith in the sensitive hands of its practitioners. Like this man, a farmer troubled by a slipped disc, who has come along to Mr. Heffernan without ever thinking in terms of a doctor. His injury came in the course of his farm work, and without help on the farm, he wants a quick cure.
He done, I think, a tremendous job on me. I was actually crippled, lying nearly almost in a wheelchair. I was going to a doctor for a long time and told me it was only cold as pitched on me back. So the neighbour called in and he said that he much of the same thing, and that I should try this man. So I came down here, and then I was crippled walking into him, but when I came out, I was able to jump about.
There are many like him. Each day, cars from all over Ireland come to the cottage on the quiet back road. And from early morning to as late as midnight, the people hobble in with their displaced bones and discs. It costs them, at most, £1, and sometimes the cure is free.
He put my shoulders back into place about 2 years ago, and I've never given me any trouble since.
Oh, he put me on he shoved back my leg and forward and fixed it in a few minutes. I had a slip disc at the time, and in 2 or 3 minutes he had me fixed.
And to have confidence in him, yeah.
I heard that he was a great man. And
who is this man, Jimmy Heffernan? What's a bone setter anyway? By his own admission, a man with a gift. The ability to set a bone in place by touch.
I could do nothing for a person except to set a bone for him.
Do people come to you at a stage when there is no hope for them, or before they go to a doctor, or when?
Well, I'll tell you now, they go to doctors, and the doctors do a very good job from at times, and they can't get to the root of the thing, maybe. And as far as I know about doctors, they do the best they can for people. They're good in the job. They make a good job. And I can fail at things with the doctors. As good as the doctors.
But how do the doctors react to you? I mean,
they don't resent me in the world.
Do they recommend patients to you?
As a matter of fact, I meet the profession very often.
In other words, you treat some doctors,
yes,
do you?
Yes, of course.
Well, no. Is this a question, to some extent, of a little knowledge being a dangerous thing? Can you go too far? I mean, is there a danger in this for people at times?
There's no danger whatsoever. You can't do any harm.
But at the same time, you're doing this, well, essentially by instinct rather than scientific knowledge. No, doesn't that leave a...
See, I have a great idea of the anatomy of the spine in my person. Like, you know, I know exactly what I'm doing. See?
But yet you haven't trained for this.
No, you couldn't train for it.
Yeah.
You couldn't learn manipulation.
Yeah. But how did you get this instinct for the anatomy of the spine?
My aunt gave me a great idea of it, about the vertebrae on the spine, and how the little sockets are sitting between the vertebrae, you see, and how they slip from one side to another and get down on the sciatic nerve, and to manipulation, push it back over it. As bone setting, they call it. Set the bone, put the bone right, put it in its right, and put it in a good line. That's all you've got to do. I see. If I said, for instance, to you, go set that man's ankle there, see?
Yeah.
And if you said to me, what will I do? Where will I put my hand? You couldn't deal with it. If you went over and put your hand on the knee and say, I'll put it back.
Yeah.
You had a gift in your hand.
So, and this is your gift.
Yeah, this is my gift.
Are you worried that people might, we'll say, at a professional level, not take you seriously and call you a quack who might be interfering?
No, I delight to be called a quack.
Well, that's most unusual.
I delight to be called a quack, tell you the truth. Well, the Americans call me an osteopath. And they can't call you a chiropractor. And they can call you an old quack. I wouldn't mind the Dickens what they call me. Nor I wouldn't mind what a person may say. A doctor wouldn't believe in you. Well, I tell you, 80% of them do.
But you never had any ambitions at all to go on and specialise in any
no.
orthopaedic work as a doctor or anything?
No, I didn't have any. I never thought about it. I thought about going doing any orthopedic work.
The people who come to you, is there a certain amount of psychological effect in this at all?
Not at all. Sure, look at psychological business is a very, very hard thing to solve. Like, sure, psychological is if you said to a person you'll be all right, they'll be all right. Supposing you did, if they had a slip disc, how could you make them all right by saying they'll be all right? You'd have to put it back into place.
And that's just exactly
As
what
a
you
matter
do.
of fact, you could have seen a woman going out there a few minutes ago she was a cripple going in. She came out with a bit of trouble on her.
There are some remarkable stories told about your cures, people going in on stretchers and skipping out the door afterwards. Are there instant
There
cures
was
to
one,
these things?
I had one very, very, very critical man. He had an awful lot of discs out. He had 8 of them gone in his back. His name is Gerald Griffin. He's up in Ennis. He came onto me with crutches. He went home. Bit easier. No trouble, walked away.
And this is normal.
That's normal, yeah.
Mr. Heffernan began on animals, worked on minor breaks in humans, and once he knew he had the gift, left farm work 15 years ago to concentrate on bone setting on a full-time basis. He's had no medical training, but a remarkable amount of success. And as well as his Irish patients, appointments have been made with him by Americans, Australians and Britons. All this, incidentally, without advertising.